The last is Ficklin, that's F like in Frank, Icklin. I'm a lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Traffic Bureau. And the preliminary information we have from tonight's incident is that approximately 6:40 this evening, 8-year-old child was riding his bicycle through the parking lot of his apartment complex. At the same time, a truck was driving through one of the driveways or the causeways of the apartment complex and making a gentle left turn around along a curve. From what it appears, what happened was the child's bike collided with the right side of the truck as he was making the left turn, and the child went down. Medical responded, transported the child to Sunrise Hospital, but unfortunately the child did not survive the collision with the truck. The driver of the truck remained on scene and has been cooperative with the investigation. And at this time, we do not believe that either intoxication or speed is a factor in this collision. It's just an unfortunate incident that happened today in a parking lot.
You were saying earlier this is just very rare for something like this to happen in a parking lot like this, right?
It's very rare. Usually there's other circumstances that are involved. Oftentimes when we deal with collisions or we hear of incidents like this, there's a speed factor or other things involved, but we're just not seeing that under these circumstances.
So was the child going really fast on his bicycle?
We're still trying to determine exactly what happened and how that happened, but that's what our fatal team is. They've been here for the last hour working on that investigation, and they're trying to figure out exactly how it happened and why.
So is it safe to say this just seems like a very unfortunate circumstance?
Very unfortunate circumstance, and but something to take away from this for everybody is, just be mindful of what you're doing and when you're doing it. We'll be on the streets and on the roadways, and you'll see people on their phones and doing other things and not really focusing on the driving that they're doing. So whether you're on the roadway, whether you're in a parking lot for an apartment complex, we ask that you pay attention to what you're doing at that time. When you're behind the wheel, that's not the time to be multitasking. That's the time to be focusing on what you're doing, because you're in this vehicle that weighs a few thousand pounds, and when it comes up against a human that is far less in weight, the outcomes that come with those collisions don't usually go very well for the human. So please be mindful of what you're doing when you're doing it. Be careful on the roadways, be careful in parking lots, and almost anticipate that something's going to happen around you, and that way we can all take care of each other.
Real quick, a lot of kids are getting out of school right now. Is this something that people need to be aware of over the next few months?
Well, anytime that our children are out playing, it's always good to, have some supervision on the children, especially when they're out and about. And oftentimes that can be tough. Kids have a lot more energy than we do as adults, and they can often go places much faster than we can, and get and cover distances much faster than we can. But it's just incidences like this make you contemplate on circumstances, and we hope that people take this as an opportunity to reflect on, if I'm in these circumstances or I see these circumstances, what can be done differently.
How's the family doing?
The family right now is at the hospital, and so I have not had contact with the family, but I can tell you that the driver of the vehicle, he's very shaken up about he's shaken up about the incident, and he and his family are here and trying to deal with it the best they can.
So you mentioned, speeding, impairment, not factors at this time.
Not at this time.
Is distracted driving a factor that you're looking at this time?
It can be, but unless we have witnesses saying this person was on their phone, unless we have other information to tell us that's the direction we need to look, it would be tough to make that determination at that time.
And the driver wouldn't be facing any charges at this time.
At this moment, with the way the investigation goes, we'll have to see how the investigation fully turns out. Either way, it's bad circumstances all the way around.
And last question for you, from me. When it comes to children, you guys are seasoned professionals, seasoned officers, but when there's a situation with a child, it hits differently. How is that going for you and your other officers at this moment?
For as seasoned as an officer as you can be, dealing with issues or dealing with crimes or dealing with circumstances that involve children is always tough, especially when the majority of us have our own children. And you can't help but think, this child's the same age as mine, or this child's the same age as my nephew. And so it's really tough. Fortunately, our department has an employee assistance program that we have assets, and we have assistance that's available to us for the times that because we are human, that we experience those things, be it an incident like this, be it a traumatic event, at any other incidents where when it affects us emotionally, that we're able to get the help and the guidance and the assistance that we need. And so we're fortunate as a department that we have those resources available to us. Thank you guys.